Hello everybody, Cooper here and welcome back to another episode of the AFL 23 Management Career Mode here with the Adelaide Crows. Hope you're all doing very well today. Today is the start of Season 3. I am excited to get into today's games, contracts that we're going to do, because there was a few players that I missed that I was supposed to go over in the last episode, but we're going to do that before we get started today. But before we do that, we're going to go over the games that we're going to be covering. So we're going to be covering the West Coast game, which is just a pre-season hit out. Then we've got Essendon, Port, Collingwood, and then we're going to do the month of April as well. We've got North Melbourne, Carlton, St Kilda, and the Western Bulldogs. So going to be a very heavy video in terms of games played. But there are also going to be some contracts that need to be signed, which I'm going to do now. It's basically the rookies from last year that I haven't signed yet. Why is Ben Keys out of contract? It says he's uncontracted for some reason. We should probably fix that up. I don't remember what the contract was that I gave him last season. I'm going to fix this up. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think it was something like this. He's accepted 3 years for $540,000. For whatever reason, he's going to count as $0 this season, but he is contracted until 2028. So I don't know why that has occurred, so I do apologise for that. But the contract extension for Zach Haynes hasn't kicked in either. So what we're basically going to do now is go through the rookies that have signed contracts, give them extensions, because we're going to need to sign them up for the future because they are our future. So we're going to start off with Zach Haynes. We're probably going to give him, how old is he? He's 19 and he's already in the 83 overall. He is so good. I'm happy giving him 9 years. We'll just give him that amount initially. He's wanting $700,000 a season. I am more than happy giving him $700,000 a season. That is no problem for me. So we're going to do that. And he has accepted that offer. So we're actually going to back end the contract as well. So, because I'm looking at the contract amount, we have roughly just under 2 million. It's about 1.7 million to spend on these additional contracts. So I'm going to back end this one. So he's earning just under 600,000 for next season. And then at the end of the contract, it'll be worth approximately $812,000 a season. So that is that. He is all signed up. I'm trying to think of who is next. I think it is Stark would be the next one. We're curious to see what he wants. He is going to be probably wanting a similar amount, I would assume. Yeah, he wants the exact same contract. So we're going to do the exact same thing with him. Okay, he's accepted the exact same contract, which is good. He's going to be a key cog in our midfield. He's got 95 to 99 potential, so I'm very excited to get him in amongst the team. I'm trying to think who else needed an extension. Tex got his extension, so that is good. Rory Sloan got his. Who would be next? It would be Christie, who is another member of our forward line. 83 overall, so he's probably going to want a little bit more than the other guys. So we're going to give him the 9 years, which I'm very happy in giving. He only wants the 699,000 as well. That is a very easy one to give out. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it already, guys, but I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, or are having a lovely, lovely day. Recording this at about 10 o'clock at night. I've just got home from a social basketball game on a Monday night, and I need a little bit of time to relax before I go to sleep. So that is what I'm doing here, as I'm talking to you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to go to sleep very soon. But I've got a few things I want to do, including this video, and I also want to do a little bit of editing as well. Jack Zeeble just got here, so we're not going to worry too much about him. Morrison is our ruck prospect, so we're going to give him a decent contract as well. I dare say he'll probably want a similar contract, although his morale is low, so he might not want to sign. But we might just test out a contract to see what happens. So he has actually rejected all of my contract offers. So I feel like we're gonna have to introduce him to the starting 22 or 23 to give him some game time. Hopefully that morale will boost as the season goes on. So I offered him 3 separate contracts. I started him out at 400,000, then I went to 600,000, and then eventually maxed him out at 700,000. He rejected all of those. So, and then we had one more draft pick that I wanted to pick up on, and I believe it was Mackenzie, if I'm not mistaken, it would be Mackenzie. His morale is very high, so this should be a fairly simple contract signing to make. He actually wants less than the others, which is very useful to us. He only wants around $560,000 a season, which I'm happy to give him. Obviously, it's a little bit expensive in the short term, but in the long term, it'll be a very affordable contract for a player of the caliber who's going to be a 90 plus overall to the squad. So we're going to back end it again, and then we're going to submit the offer. He should accept, which he does. We're actually going to see who else needs a new contract. Lloyd looks like he needs a new contract. We'll give him 2 years, actually. Okay, he's around for another 2 years. That is fantastic. Again, I did extend his contract, so I'm not sure why it says he's uncontracted. Mansell will probably leave to the end of the season. Campbell will leave. Phil Davis just got here. Fogarty, I would like to extend him. That would be one that I'm looking to extend. So we should extend Darcy Fogarty. It'd be interesting to see how much he wants, is the only thing. Because we're currently at basically the salary cap. We're $500 short of the salary cap. So if we sign him, we'll go over the salary cap. So we'll then have to reduce somebody else. So I'm going to play around with this, see how much he wants. And then once we've got a contract signed, I will let you know. Okay, Darcy Fogarty has accepted a new contract for 7 years, $635,000 a season. No backloading or front loading. He's just accepted the contract, $635,000 a season straight up. Everybody else, I think I will leave until the off season. I just want to see how everybody plays out. Rankin also expires at the end of the season. We might just see how that plays out for now. But yeah, everybody else is signed up, which is good. Obviously, we'd like to keep Rankin, but as I said, we'll see how the season plays out. We now need to get a nice look at the team, what it's going to look like for this upcoming season. As you can see, our backline is looking very strong. We've got Dawson, Mackay, Chase Jones, Caleb Daniel, Sam Taylor, now the addition of Nick Dacos. So we've got a very strong backline. Our midfield, not as strong as the backline, but still very, very good. Saligo, Marlon Pickett is going to come out at some point. We are going to then throw, we've got to put Rory Laird in there. He can play on the wing. Luke Dunstan, he's probably going to be a backup, I would say. I'm going to play around with the team, and then I will run through the starting team, how it's going to look, how it's going to play out. Okay, I've had a little bit of a play around with the squad, and this is how I envision our best 23 playing out. Obviously, minus injuries. We'll obviously make do with what we can, but I will point out very quickly our injury situation. So Mansell is injured, Jack Zeeble is injured. Both of these players I don't really fancy, seeing in the team too much. Aaron Cadman is currently injured, as well as Jeremiah Mackenzie. Mackenzie is sort of a future key defender, so obviously we'd like to keep him out of the injury report if possible, but I don't know how long these injuries are for, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Anyway, but this is the team that I am looking at. So the defense is probably the strongest part of our team, which I'm actually quite happy about. We've got Jordan Dawson leading from the back as our captain and kick-out master. Ben Mackay is going to be playing as our fullback. Chase Jones, we've already gone over how good he is. Caleb Daniel, a new addition to the team. We did have him come in as sort of insurance for Mason Redman, as Mason Redman spent the majority of, all of last season out with an ACL injury. He didn't actually play a game in the regular season for us, but he's actually back from injury now, so he's going to be starting out as the sub. Caleb Daniel will start on the halfback flank. Sam Taylor is going to start at centre half-back, and Nick Dacos is going to start on the other half-back flank. So we move into the midfield. We've got Rory Laird on the right wing. Finn Callahan is going to be our centre. He's going to be real key for us. And then we've got Kingston Stark, who is really, really tiny. He's only 165 centimetres, but he's going to be playing on the other wing, providing really good coverage on that side of the field. Riley O'Brien, I've actually had to think about it in the off-season and thinking about some of the contracts that we have coming up and sort of how the money is getting probably a little bit close to, we're going to have to make sacrifices at some point. He might be someone that we do eventually sacrifice. He's 28 years old, I believe. I don't believe he's an expiring contract, but he's on a decent penny. We've obviously got Jace Morrison coming through. Callum Coleman-Jones we brought in last season. Those two I want to give as much game time as I can. And while we've got Riley O'Brien there, as good as he is, he's sort of in the way of our other really good, promising players developing. So he's probably going to be on the outer towards the end of this season. But we'll obviously still see how he goes. If he's irreplaceable, we'll obviously have to keep him. But as I said, we'll see how that goes. Ben Keys, fresh off a contract extension, will continue his ruck roving role. He's been fantastic. Rory Sloane, just starting to decline now. This is probably going to be his last, if not his second to last season at the club. I am targeting more midfielders going into the next off-season, and Rory Sloane's position is one that we're going to be looking to replace as he is getting older. As we move into the forward line, I've got Isaac Rankin on the half-forward flank. Again, contract. He's one I'm going to want to extend. He's only young. I've given him the number 23 this year with the departure of McAdam. Although I did actually think that happened a couple of seasons ago, but I forgot to mention it. So he's wearing number 23, obviously made famous by Andrew McLeod. We'll see what kind of magic he can conjure on that half-forward flank. Darcy Fogarty, centre-half forward, just fantastic. He didn't have a great season last year, was quite inaccurate. Hopefully he can turn that around this year. And then we got Matthew Christie, who's all signed up for the upcoming season, upcoming 9 seasons actually. So he's going to be good to have. Rochelle hasn't developed as much as I probably want him to, but we're looking to nurture him, develop him more. Hopefully he becomes something else, otherwise I'm going to have to replace him. Taylor Walker, this is probably going to be his final season. He has really taken a dive off the deep end in terms of his overall rating. He was up at 87 last season. He's already down to a 78. I've got a feeling that's only going to get worse. So as Cadman recovers from his injury, we're going to replace him and put Cadman at full forward instead of Tex Walker. And then in the forward pocket, we've got Daniel Lloyd, who we just signed up for another couple of seasons. He's sort of a placeholder because we've got no one else that can really not play the position, but there's nobody else I really want to play in that position just yet. So I'm going to need to do some recruiting and find another forward pocket to play in that position. And then our starting bench will be Jace Morrison as our backup ruckman, Zayden Haynes as one of our back pockets, Sam Darcy, who's our backup key defender, Riley Thilthorpe. I did consider starting him at full forward, but I just want to give him another season off the bench to see what he can do. And then we've got Mason Redmond, as discussed. He will be the sub, pending any injuries, of course. That is subject to change. But this is going to be the lineup fairly consistently. Hopefully, we don't have too many injuries this year. Always, knock on wood. But today we've got our first preseason hit out, our only preseason hit out against West Coast out in Mineral Resources Park, wherever that is. And we do win fairly comfortably. We win by 66 points. Again, only a preseason match, but a really positive sign. Lots of multiple goal kickers. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Round 1, we do have Essendon. I got to remember how many matches we're going to be playing this episode. We'll be playing 8 matches. So we're going to get to the end of round 8, and then we will call it an episode then. So we're going to play the first third of the season, and then we'll see how we go. So round 1, hopefully nobody is injured, and we already have 2 injuries. Fantastic. So this is why we have the extra halfback flanker. Mason Redmond can come straight in for Caleb Daniel. Marlon Pickett we will bring in because we don't currently have a midfielder on the bench. And then Rory Laird is injured. We'll bring in Luke Dunstan for this role. So people that I picked up in the rookie draft, this is basically the only scenario where I would play them, is if we had just these random injuries that pop up. We'll confirm the lineup. We will actually quickly check the injury list. Cadman is inactive with a hamstring evulsion. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that means, whether that's just a torn hamstring or not, but he is currently out, so we might not see him for a little while. Jack Zeebel's got the same thing. Mackenzie has got syndesmosis. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but he's only 4 to 5 weeks away. Roy Laird's only got a minor hamstring strain, so he's going to be out a week or so. Caleb Daniel missed a fitness test, so he's going to be back soon. And Mansell's got an AC joint, which will be 4 to 5 weeks. So that is not too bad. We now have Essendon round 1, Adelaide Oval. It's going to be, looks like a evening-ish match. Hopefully we can get the win in round 1. Kick the season off in style. We almost blow it at the end, but we do indeed win by 4 points. Much better than our start in last season, if you haven't watched a couple of episodes ago. We now have Port in round 2. Now, the Port game is always very interesting. We haven't beaten Port yet in the career mode just yet, so I'm a little bit concerned about what we're going to be able to do. Tex Walker's overall is already declining. I'm going to move him to the bench for Thilthorpe. I think it's time. We might actually go with... Who are we going to go with for the... Caleb Daniels back. Although I don't really fancy him playing... Do we drop Tex Walker entirely and do this? I think we do. Mason Redmond could be the sub. Marlon Pickett can be on the bench. Rory Laird's still a week away. We need a forward pocket. We do not have another forward pocket, which is annoying. We do, actually. We have Malira, which would be very good. So Malira comes in for Rochelle. Hopefully Rochelle's not out for too long. We'll have a quick look. He is hamstring strain 2 to 3 weeks. That's fine. But we've got Port, who did win. They're actually top of the ladder. They smoked Western Bulldogs in round 1. And the losing streak against Port continues. We were down big in the third quarter. 6 goals to 1 in the final quarter. Could not bring us a winning game, unfortunately. Port look like they're going to be strong this year, so we have to see what we can do with that. Finn Callahan is now injured as well. Not ideal. Let's bring in Max Michelini. I know he doesn't play the same position. Rory Laird is back. Actually, we'll bring in Rory Laird for Max Michelini. Laird can go to the wing, Dunson can come to the bench, and then once somebody else recovers from their injury, we can fix that up. So hopefully we can move to 2-1. We don't want a negative win-loss record. We don't. We win 99-91 after a big final quarter. 6 goals to 2. We end up winning by 8 points in a fantastic result. Pickett was the leading ball winner with 42 disposals for us. North Melbourne are up next, and they're currently sitting in 14th with only the 1 win to their name. They are 1-2. Let's have a look. Darcy Fogarty is now injured. Injuries, I really do dislike injuries. Tex Walker is the man that we're going to bring in. Finn Callahan is also back. I know I was going to drop Marlon Pickett, but I was like, nah, he had a really good game last week, so we should probably keep him in the team. And then everybody else can be on the out for now. Let's extend this winning run. 3 wins, 1 loss would be nice. We do. We double North Melbourne's tally to win by 45 points with a massive last quarter, 7 goals to 2. Really established ourselves. We're actually down by 3 points at halftime. Didn't let them score in the third quarter, and then blew them out in the fourth quarter. So really, really good effort. Riley O'Brien actually kicked 4 goals, so that was a weird sort of turn of events. We now play the unbeaten Carlton, who, as soon as I say that, lose their first game. But we're in the top 4, it looks like. If I'm not mistaken. Nope, we dropped down to 5th. So the ladder on the right isn't always accurate, but we are still doing a lot better than last season. Marlon Pickett can come in for Ben Keys. Just have a quick look around of our injury situation. Darcy Fogarty is back. Tex Walker, you are going to be dropped to the bench once again. Tex's rating now. He's now a 75. He is on the decline, and it is very, very quick. So this is definitely going to be Tex's last season. I know we signed him to an additional contract year. Unfortunately, we now have the gather round. We're wearing very similar Guernseys. Hopefully that doesn't impact us too much. We do beat Carlton by 2 points. We were up by 30 towards the end of the third quarter, and we only kicked 4 points to their 4 goals in the final quarter. So we definitely almost blew it. But we're maintaining that spot in the top 4. We now have St Kilda, who haven't won a game. And they're 0-5. So we do not want to be the first team to lose to them. We will go... Sam Darcy can play as the fullback for this match. I don't know how long Mackay is out for, but it looks like there's been a reduction in our injury tally. So we can actually bring in Ben Keys back into the lineup. We're actually going to move Marlon Pickett to the bench. And it looks like we only have the 4 injuries. Cadman is still out, unfortunately. But everything else looks the same. Rochelle is back. So we should probably bring Rochelle back in as well. Malera can go to the forward pocket. Actually come out of the forward pocket, I should say. Rochelle will come back in. We don't want to be the first team to lose to St Kilda this season. We become the first team to lose to St Kilda this season. We were up in the fourth quarter, but couldn't quite hang on for the win. We lose by 8, unfortunately. Is that the last match of the episode? No, it is not. This will be the last match of the episode. Let's finish off with the win. Western Bulldogs are not in the best of form. Sam Darcy is now injured, so he's not going to be able to play up against his old team. Is there anybody else that can play the key defense position? Max Michelini can. So we're going to bring him in for his... Whoops, I just brought out Sam Taylor by accident. Let's fix that up. He's going to play his first game of the season. Is there anybody else who's created the comeback from injury? Doesn't look like it. We'll confirm the team. Marvel Stadium, Anzac, I suppose, weekend. And we lose by 49 points. So not a great way to end the episode. We now drop all the way out of the top 8 to then play the Giants. But we will do that next episode. Let's have a look at where we stand ladder-wise. We were 4-1 at one stage, and now we sit at 4-3 with a negative percentage. That is not ideal. But it is early days. But we have definitely improved from last season already, where I think we finished 13th last season after finishing 9th in season 1. So anything above 13th is an improvement. But obviously we're competing for a top 8 spot with the amount of recruitment that we've done in the off season. That is our goal. So we're going to be looking in towards first top 8 section of the ladder. But that will be something we do in the next episode, as I said. But until then, guys, I hope you have a lovely day. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as it does really, really help. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you guys then. Bye.